I only have one question left unanswered after seeing Tina. But let me tell you first about the musical, and if you stick around till the end of the video, you'll find out what the question is. Tina the musical premiered in 2018 at the Aldwych Theatre, which is its home to this day. And pretty much as it says on the tin, the musical follows the story of Tina Turner, queen of rock and roll, from her humble beginnings all the way to becoming diva and entertainment powerhouse she has been known for. And the fact that this musical has been on the West End for close to 6 years and now is extended until May 2025 and it transferred to Broadway means that this musical is definitely worth seeing. So what makes it so special? The first thing is her incredible life story. As every origin story of great people, it starts with a challenge. It starts with overcoming quite a lot of difficulties and becoming the person that they are. And Tina has definitely overcome quite a lot of challenges, issues within family, domestic abuse, and everything that she kind of witnessed growing up, all the way to witnessing that in her own marriage and just discrimination on so many different levels, racial, gender, ageism at some point as well. So all of this has really painted her story so impactful and powerful to watch. Overall, it is a very inspiring and positive story, but I need to warn you that there are quite a few scenes of domestic abuse and violence. And if you're sensitive to that type of topic, just be aware that there will be a few instances of that in the musical. It's definitely not the key story, but it is an important story because it is unfortunately part of what she endured in her life. Also, the story and the musical have been created while Tina Turner was alive, and she has been involved with it and she has seen the musical and she kind of like approved of it in some way. That also means that this musical is actually accurate and it's a true representation of her lives. The second thing that makes this musical so special is her music. My oh my, how many hits did Tina Turner have? I kind of went into this as being of that opinion that I obviously know of her, I know some of her songs, but it just feels that Tina Turner is one of those artists that was really popular in my parents' generation. When I went there and listened to the music, I just realized how many songs I know and I love that are by Tina Turner. She is one of the best-selling record artists of all time with 12 Grammys under her belt and so many fantastic songs that will just make you want to dance, some will make you want to cry, but generally the energy in the room is electric. We have an amazing life story, amazing music, so this is a perfect recipe for a musical. And luckily, the creative team behind this musical has made an incredible job with creating a jukebox musical that is actually so good. I personally am not the biggest fan of jukebox musicals just because I prefer hearing new and unique songs and being introduced to something slightly different to what I can listen to on the radio. But in this setting, it really works because it is a story about a musician, singer, an entertainer, and her impact on the music industry and obviously her fans. So in this particular scenario, jukebox musical works so well. I think in terms of the actual story of this musical, it is something that keeps you engaged and the songs kind of come very naturally. They don't feel forced and they don't feel like they're where they don't belong, but just like give you that extra flavor of how the songs have come about. It is impossible to talk about Tina Turner without mentioning her amazing energy, and I think one of the things that I really felt while I was at the theater is the energy in the room. Firstly, there are a lot of people who are fans who are there and they just want to hear and see their favorite musician coming to life. But I think there's also a group of people who just wanted to listen to something familiar, and then as soon as these songs start, as soon as you feel the energy of Tina Turner in the room, everything becomes times 100. Just you feel like you want to dance, you feel like all these songs that you're hearing are now even better because now you know this kind of surrounding story about them, and this really contributed to everyone at some point just like standing up and clapping. And yes, the crowd was a little bit more like on the older side, but there were like plenty of younger people as well. I think it's like a really nice balance between this being a musical that is affordable and also super energetic and like an amazing night out, and probably a really good musical to take your parents to. I can imagine that the biggest challenge that the creative team has had on their hands when it comes to casting is finding the right person to play Tina. It is not an easy job. It is something that everyone is going to be skeptical about because how can you replicate or get close to replicating this amazing diva powerhouse of music on stage every single night? Like, the performer that lends this role needs to be fantastic. I cannot emphasize emphasize enough how brilliant Chris Anderson was in the role of Tina. I had an immense pleasure of seeing her perform, and the energy, the emotion. I think she embodied Tina with every single cell of her body, and that is so visible, and it's like she lives and breathes Tina's spirit, and it was so incredible to watch her, and her vocal technique and capabilities are off the charts. This is not to say that the rest of the cast isn't amazing, but obviously this musical being about Tina Turner, it is mainly about Tina and about the person who gets to portray that character. And this brings me to the question that I mentioned in the introduction of this video, which I have been pondering about since I've seen this musical. Why did it take me so long to go and see Tina? I honestly don't know. I feel it's one of those musicals that maybe I was skeptical about, because how good can it actually be? Like, if you know how great Tina Turner was. As I mentioned, I feel like jukebox musicals aren't something that I am that into. So I feel like all of this added up, and I just never thought that this is a musical that I wanted to see. But I'm so glad that I went to see it, and it is definitely a musical that I will be recommending to my friends, or that I will take my family members to, just because it is a fantastic night out. It is a great musical. It allows you to have a better understanding about Tina as a musician and as a person, and just overall, I really left the theater feeling super positive and energized and singing the songs that I know and I didn't know that I love so much. This all goes to say that if you're on a lookout for your next theater adventure, Tina should definitely be on your list. But if you are not really convinced, maybe check one of these top 5 shows that I've seen last year that you can still see in 2024.